What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Talkin Baseball. We've got a fun conversation with the guys from Cespedes Family BBQ. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? Happy Memorial Day. We hope you're being safe, but having fun and enjoying yourself. Thanks for tuning in to Talkin Baseball. My name's Jimmy. I've got Trevor Plouffe here. I've got Jake Storielli here, and we got producer BBD down in the corner. And we just wrapped up a fun conversation with Jake and Jordan from Cespedes Family BBQ, now from Baseball Barbecue on The Ringer. And Trev, you had never met these guys before. We met them at winter meetings, had a blast, and had a lot of fun with them. But you had never met them. You were impressed by their wealth of knowledge?
I was. I think they're good guys. I told you I had something special happen to me this morning, so I was already in a good mood. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe that had something to do with it. But, you know, we got to talking with these guys, and they're just fun. I mean, they're baseball fans, and they kind of just cover different things than we covered usually. So it was cool to like kind of take a break from what we usually do and talk about the Dominican and D3 baseball and all sorts of crap.
Yeah. Jake, you mentioned on the episode we did with them at winter meetings where we really talked about nothing. We talked about a funny text exchange, but this was more baseball. More baseball, right, Jake?
Yeah, and I almost wanted to do that with them with the Ringer stuff a little bit, because I don't know if Trevor knows this, but there's an old story where Jimmy thought he was texting me, but he was texting Cespedes BBQ Jake, and he basically shared all of our financial information. And so
that's a mistake.
The Jake you just met was receiving these texts, and he's like, wow, this JOMBOY guy, he's either flexing on me or I'm not sure what he's doing.
Because I was like, it was a good month, Jake. It was a good month. Yeah.
This
is what we earned.
That whole story is pretty bizarre. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm genuinely happy for them to get involved with the Ringer. And I think the other thing is like we share the same airspace, but not at all, man.
No.
I just, it's one of those weird things that, you know, at the end of the day, when all this is said and done, I have no idea what my life looks like, but I know if it stays in baseball, like those guys will be around it at the end. Like they are just so passionate about this damn sport that I unfortunately like them and I hate it.
Wow. All right. Well, we are going to throw it to that interview, but before we do that, I've got to tell you about this ad. Whether you're working from home or you're working on your fitness, you want what you're listening to be what you're listening to, not what Jake Ronald Storielli is listening to. And everyone needs a great pair of wireless earbuds. But before you go dropping of hundreds of dollars on a pair, you need to check out wireless earbuds from Raycon. You already know earbuds start at about half the price of any other premium wireless earbuds on the market, and that they sound just as amazing as other top audio
They're
brands.
amazing.
Amazing.
And
BBD,
of course I already knew that.
Yeah, I've got a couple Raycon headphones because I thought I lost one
earbuds
on our spring training earbuds on our spring training trip, and so I was like, "Oh, why?"
Enough about BBD.
Okay, their newest model.
Damn it, David.
Their newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, are the best ones yet, with 6 hours of playtime. It's like a doubleheader.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Seamless Bluetooth. I don't think you can watch Gandhi in full, but you can get pretty close to the end.
Close.
Seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, hell yeah, and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise isolating lift. Trev, you don't know who the Schmooze is, but I gotta introduce you to Schmooze.
No.
I don't know who that is.
He's this radio host in New York that talks like that. Like, Raycon's wireless earbuds are so comfortable, perfect for conference calls or binging podcasts.
Probably not going to listen to the Schmooze if he talks like that.
No.
It's the best. Unlike some of your other wireless options, Raycon earbuds are both stylish and discreet, with no dangling wires or stems to distract anyone during video calls. You've heard me talk about how the company was founded by Ray J and celebrities like Snoop Dogg.
Nope.
And they're obsessed with Raycon. So pick up a pair and see what the hype is all about. Now's the time to get the latest and greatest from Raycon. Get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/baseball. That's buyraycon.com/baseball for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. Buyraycon.com/baseball. Interview.
We are joined by two complete sellouts. No, two baseball bloggers, Jake Mintz and Jordan Schusterman of Cespedes Family BBQ. Boys, we are so excited. Well, let me start over. Me and Jimmy are so excited for you, and Trevor Plouffe is very nervous. So how are you guys?
Oh, I feel great. Jake is, I guess, trying to make sure that you can't tell what pitch he's throwing.
I've been preparing for this by reading this book, Moneyball.
Okay. So you're up to
Because I'm a baseball fan. I'm a baseball fan, so I know every word. It's like my Bible.
Caught up.
Is Moneyball good? Does it age well? I don't like the movie, but people get so mad at me when I say that. But the movie's not good. If we're gonna all be honest with each other, the movie's not good.
The movie's not good, but like we do need to take a step back and appreciate how insane it is that Brad Pitt is playing a GM in like a blockbuster film.
Yeah, like that's a win regardless of how shitty the movie is.
It's the worst thing that could have happened because Billy Bean already loves himself.
Mm.
And then you have Brad Pitt playing you in a movie, and it's like, dude, that's a trump card for life. He's got it.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah, Rick Hahn can't say that.
No.
It's a break for Rick Hahn.
Or the other, who's the other guy that was Jonah Hill played?
Podesta, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a tough one too.
Yeah, Jonah Hill got awards for that movie, and he like didn't even act. Like every line he gave was just like, yeah, just he's got better stats than him, and just like in that voice, they gave him an award.
He crushed it.
He's got the clench.
That's crazy. Anyway, how are you guys doing, man? Congrats. Two other guys that turned their baseball fanhood into a job. So that's a lot of people here. Trev turned his baseball skill into a job, so it's a little bit different. But how long was this deal like going? Pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to go into the full backstory, but I can say that it stretches back a lot farther than when we announced it a few weeks ago. Because yeah, I mean, we were like ready to roll right when everything was shut down. So we don't have to go hour by hour, but let's just say we were very close to announcing it when baseball was shut down. So it kind of
on Rudy Gobert Day.
Yeah. So it kind of threw a wrench into our plans. But we kind of reconvened and put it back together. And now we're excited to finally have a podcast again.
I remember we first got contacted when we were in the Dominican, when Jordan was visiting me in the Dominican Republic. And we were like, we heard that the Ringer was interested, and it was like, oh, well, sure. Yeah. Great.
That's awesome.
I was into your content in the Dominican. I was following along, especially when you guys went to like a fucking house party down there. And I was jealous. I was like, dude, there's nothing I'd rather be doing than partying. You know, like you guys look like you're like putting fireworks off in the street or some shit. Like it was real deal. Like you guys were in it.
Trevor, you could have gone down there and been an absolute legend. I don't know if you have ever had play ball. It feels like that would have been the move.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of avoided it, to be honest with you. There was a few times where I could have went down there, but to me, I value the off season a lot.
Right. So, no, that's fair. It's just weird in retrospect because like those insane Dominican games were the last baseball games we watched.
Yeah.
So it's kind of we wish it out, I appreciate them even more.
What was the I think we had just talked to you at winter meetings, right, Jake, about your time down there, and you had the beard and everyone told you they didn't like it, but you've kept it. So I congratulate you on your pridefulness in keeping the beard. That's awesome. You went back to the Dominican, right, after winter meetings?
Yeah, so I was there for a total of about 2 months in a couple different chunks of time. Jordan came and visited me for about a week of that. I was there before and after the winter meetings. And like, it was I'm very lucky that I had the opportunity to do it. We had like a bit of a lull in just the work that we were doing, and I had the time to go. And it was so incredibly worth it and gave me a real the way the world works down there. Because like, it's easy to be like, oh, the Dominican is this lawless, like free-for-all of baseball world. And it is of that to an extent, but like there are still real people running these teams and people are living and dying by it. And just being amongst it gave me such a deep appreciation for there being baseball beyond just America.
Didn't one team fire like 4 managers in the season or something like that?
Well, of the 6 teams in the league, 5 of them fired their manager at one point during the season.
How many of the fired managers got like rehired within the league?
None of them came back. My favorite one is that one team, the team that I was following the most, Escogido, fired their manager, who is Buck Britton, Zach Britton's brother.
Oh, we met
friend
Buck.
of the pod.
Yeah.
One of the best guys. Spent a lot of time with Buck. They fired Buck like a week before the postseason and didn't get a new manager until the first postseason game. So they just like brought a guy in to start managing the team in the playoffs. And that was Luis Matos, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So
Dude.
it was, can you imagine a team like stumbles into the postseason and just has a new manager for like the game 1 of the ALDS?
How many teams make the postseason out of the 6? All of them?
4 of 6 make it. And then they do a round robin of those 4 teams. And then the top 2 of that round robin move to the final. So there's like an 18-game playoff round robin.
Damn. Was Buck's team the 4 seed?
They were the 3 seed.
So why'd they fire him? Like, it seems like that's decent.
Yeah, like it. So he wasn't the manager to start the year.
Oh.
Jace Tingler,
course
who's
he
now
wasn't.
the manager
Tingler
of the
was.
Padres, was down there managing this team and went 8-0 or 8-1 or something, got the Padres job and left. And
He's like,
Buck
I'm out.
was the quality control coach and was like, I guess I got to do the job. And so once Buck stepped in, the team kind of slid a little bit. Not Buck's fault at all, just the ups and downs of baseball. But like they'll fire people in an instant. Like they will, the leash is so short. And the way that the fans react to winning and losing, like if a team is on like a W2, the place is packed. If they're on a 2-loss win streak or a 2-game loss streak, no one's there. It's empty.
That's crazy, man.
I
That's
love
wild.
that.
So
Hearing another Jake talk makes my skin crawl. So Jordan, how are you doing, man? Have you have you taken a step back and be like, my life has led me to doing backyard baseball games and this is heaven? Or are like where are you at? Because I know when I first moved to the city, great time to move to the city, by the way. I sent other Jake a text and I was like, dude, we should grab a beer. And as we just came off spring training, and Trevor Plouffe was noting how notoriously gross me and JOMBOY were. All the Corona stuff started, and other Jake said something along the lines of, if you think I'm seeing anybody right now, you're out of your mind. So I guess
I was early.
yeah.
walk me through how you've been, I guess, since March and everything you guys have been doing, because we're all in this kind of same boat of like, what do we do? And it's kind of where we landed.
Right. Well, it has been interesting. And I know that like the first, we had the opening day, MLB opening day at home where you're showing all these old games. And I know teams and MLB is still putting out all these old games. I only have so much of an appetite for watching old games. And so like the best part about all those games is that they are the worst game for the other team's fan. So it was like, obviously you're celebrating them for half the fans, and then half these teams are like, why do I have to relive this? Like, I know they were just showing game 6 of 2011 last night, and it's like, if you're a Rangers fan, it's like, God damn it, why am I being subjected to this again? So there are kind of two sides to that, but we're doing okay. Obviously you guys do a great job of still celebrating baseball without baseball in all kinds of bizarre ways, but it's just finding ways that are not watching old games, and that's been the challenge for me, but doing okay.
So Jake's been watching old games just as like, at home on his couch watching old games. I can't do that at all, but we've been watching like just like an inning here and an inning there we're calling it watching baseball. And there's craziness. And I kind of want to ask you this, Jake, about the Dominican. Like the game was played different. If you watch a game from the 70s and 80s, it's a completely different strategy. Anytime there's a runner on first base, they hit and ran. Like without question.
Right.
They were hitting and running. And in the 70s, late 70s, I would say 50% of bats, maybe that's high, maybe 40% of at bats had a fake bunt in it. Like just a showed bunt. Maybe they didn't bunt, but they showed it. Like nonstop showing bunt. And Jake and I were like, damn, this is really different. The games are 2 hours long, which I do kind of now appreciate that, where people are like, the games are too long. I'm like, you know what? You kind of have a point. Those 2 hour games were quick, but the bunting's crazy. What was it? Is the Dominican just slugfest, the two true outcomes?
No, dude, it's the opposite. The Dominican is like half of old baseball. So it is a lot more small ball. A lot of the parks are huge, and a lot of the parks are right on the water at sea level, so the ball doesn't carry it all. The all-time record for home runs in that league is like 92 for a career, and it's Juan Francisco, which you guys will appreciate. He's like the Barry Bonds of the Dominican Minor League. So there's a lot more stealing, a lot more bunting, but on the other hand, games are even longer than MLB right now on average. And a big reason for that is the way that they use bullpens. So you have a 38 weekly roster and you pick a 28 daily from the 38. And so teams are just cycling through these bullpen arms all the time. And it leads to this bullpen carousel. And it's just mind-numbing at times. The games take forever. The one game that sticks in my head, it was the 13-inning game. It was like a one-game playoff. It started at 7, and it went so long that by 2:30 a.m. it had started raining, and they had to postpone it for the next day. Like, I understand 13 innings is long. It shouldn't take until 2:30, 2:45 a.m. to play 13 innings.
That's insane. What is that, like 7 hours?
It was like a 7-hour game. Yeah.
Well, and also like you combine like the relievers aren't very good. So it's like you have relievers who aren't, it's a combination of that and the managers who are basically every day trying to not get fired. So it's like sometimes pressing too many buttons and then other times. So yeah.
And they have replay. They have replay there,
true.
But it sucks. Like their replay system there is not great. There is one replay thing there that you guys will love. So there's one field that doesn't have like the technology hookup to the main office. So the umpires keep an iPhone like next, like behind home plate. And I saw them call like on an iPhone to get the ruling of the call.
Hey, whatever. I thought you were saying they were going to be videoing with the iPhone. I was like, no, please don't do that.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. So they called someone who, who did they call?
They just called like the office, like the replay, like their version of Chelsea or whatever, right? God. But instead of doing it with like the headphones and the hookup, they were just like, Siri, call,
That's crazy.
I mean, look, our MLB's replay system sucks too. So it might as well be an iPhone there. As long as it takes for those guys to, decide if they're going to be an out or not is ridiculous. So
I was going to say,
can't be much worse.
We've had a lot of replays I don't know how much KBO you guys have been watching, but like, I feel like they are faster with the replay, but it's still a lot of the same problems. Like the same thing, they bring it out and this, but whoever gets to hold the replay machine, they always get their time in the sun. I love that. I love that they're a star. By the end of the season last year, I would recognize each stadium's replay operator. Like, oh, there he is. I wonder what his name is.
This is rude, but there's only one that I remember, and it's because it's a very portly guy with like a big beard, and I'm like, you're so hot right now. you're like, you have all this equipment on, you're fat, and you have like a beard and long hair. Like, come on, man. Like, this job sucks for you.
That's Jimmy's unit of measurement for people is how
Sweaty.
hot do they look right now.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's too hot.
I got to say, I think I'm a baseball snob because I can't watch
Yes.
KBO.
You are.
I surely couldn't watch a winter league game. I'm not going to watch the minor league
But
all-star
being-
game. I just can't. I don't know what it is. I don't know what
I'm
it
the
is,
exact opposite, man. I'm the exact opposite.
Yeah.
These guys
I
have
need
a
to see like
D3
Buxton
podcast.
going.
Yeah, Trevor, you're talking to the guys who are actively seeking out the worst forms of baseball and consuming it to a degree that is
God bless you guys.
certainly unhealthy. But like I see that's interesting though, because for you, I mean, is it just that you can tell the difference so much? Like, is it the quality? Is it that it's not? Is that you're watching it knowing they're not the best players in the world? Like, what is the aversion? I'm just curious.
For me, go ahead, Trev, and then I'll do my answer.
I think it is that I can tell, even if I'm watching, like, there's no way I'm going to tune into like a Tigers Orioles game either.
Oh wow.
No,
So
no
you're really-
offense.
He's
No
an
offense
Oriole.
to you, like an Orioles fan, but you know, I want to see the best. Like I said, I want to see like Kiermaier flying around the outfield or Buxton or something like that. Like that's, to me, that's kind of what it is. But
CC
but-
Sabathia said the same thing on his show. So maybe it's, these guys watch
in saying
games.
that, I will watch a Little League World Series game. So maybe I'm just an
good.
idiot.
I'm glad you can open up your heart to the
I do like that.
The 11-year-olds from Marietta, Georgia, who are kicking the shit out of the kids from Connecticut.
Yes, that's my favorite thing.
Hey, we didn't.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I love the regional, like I don't know, it's not a bias, but like obviously
okay.
Texas, Florida,
Oh,
California are just gonna go in and whoop on the northeastern teams, and I love that.
Yeah. I'm gonna call Todd Frazier up. He'll kick your ass.
I don't
Was
think
he
you
in
will.
the Little League World
Hey,
Series?
I've had a little scrum with old Todd Father.
You had a
There's
You had a
I,
brawl with Todd?
I mean, we not just me and him, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was one-on-one.
White Sox.
Todd's fine.
Twins.
Todd and I are great. Don't
Although I will
don't-
say
don't
there's a
bring
big
Todd up
difference
in this.
between
Todd
there's a
invited
big
me.
difference between the teams from Jersey and the teams from
I
Connecticut.
went and watched Todd's son play flag football. So I mean, me and Todd are close friends.
Oh,
The Cespedes boys will like this. There was a line in my interview questions for a while that I thought was a good question. Because we were talking about like Trevor Plouffe and Delman Young played baseball together at age 12. And like I think that's awesome. Like that's incredible. And I feel like I always got the speech from coaches that was something along the lines of like, only one of you out here might be a major leaguer. And I don't know why my team always got that speech. Turned out the coach was right. There were 0 major leaguers. But I would like ask them questions like that, or other guys that played with talented guys when they were young, and like Trevor and everyone else was like, no, man, nobody else got that speech. I think it was just you, little guy.
No,
So
it's just
that's
because we're from Connecticut.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
One day you could grow up and play with George Springer, and
Yes. Jeff Bagwell.
I do think that was just like Jake's coach said that to him. I don't think
Yeah,
that's
what an
a
asshole.
very common thing.
Coach was right. Let's not put him under the bus. Coach was right.
Who was the
Wait,
one major leaguer?
wait,
Benson?
Trevor, if you played with Delman Young as a 12-year-old, were you guys the 2 best players on the team?
Yeah.
He was for sure. He was
Right.
like a god back then. He
Right.
was just better than everybody. And I probably was like, yeah. I mean, I don't know, maybe not.
But
I
you
was
said
small back
they had a
then.
recruiter.
I grew in high school.
They had like a dude who recruited Trev and Delman to this travel team. So they were like the hot commodities.
Yeah,
Wow, I'm on your
I was
high
good, but I
school's
was
notable
small.
alumni page now.
Yeah, Jenny
Oh, my-
Dell.
Wow, this is
Oh.
Rick Dempsey. I have his picture
Yep,
on my
right.
bedroom wall.
I love Rick.
Oh, Trev's. Yeah, it's probably way more cooler than Pomperac High School. But we have Jenny
We have
Dell.
a few big leaguers.
We have Jenny Dell.
Jenny Dell.
Katie Stevens.
This is Middlebrooks.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Middlebrooks came back for Thanksgiving and bought everyone shots at the bar, and everyone was like, so excited about it.
But Trevor, so then why do you like the Little League World Series? Because
I know the answer here.
Because I don't really know.
because you have some rooting interest. You root for California and Texas to beat the shit out of the Northeast. Like I have, so for KBO, the times are just bad. Like I'm not going to wake up or do like, we have a crazy day. If I had a TV in this office and KBO was on, it would be on the background easily. And that would lead to me making GIFs of some weird shit that happens and I'd be covering it like normal.
Right.
But the CPBL, that was bad baseball. Like I was like, oh, this is
it's bad baseball.
I was like,
You
this
correct.
is not. Like I tried to tune into a couple and I was like, oh, this is kind of like, nah, I'm not into this. It was just very sloppy.
Can I give you guys a story of I almost went to Korea to play.
Okay.
Here we go.
So I'm in Lehigh Valley, rotting away my last year in professional baseball. And this guy approached me and said, hey, like we got a spot. We're probably going to release this guy. Do you want to come play? So I'm like, look, I don't know. Like, come, let's talk about it. This guy came and talked about it. And I was like, I got a few questions for you, man. I'm like, how's the quality of baseball? I said, and shoot me straight. You know, like I know you're like part of the league, but like tell me what it really is. And he said it is between AAA and the big leagues. And immediately I knew he was full of shit. And so my follow-up question to that was, well, why do these guys who kind of like flame out in the lower minors go over there and become monsters? And he tried to like give me some explanation for that. It was a bad one. And I was like, look, I'm interested, like, you know, so like get back to me. Like we'll talk, we'll have like another meeting about it. And he ended up like kind of saying like, look, we think we're going to go in a different direction. So I got like shut out of video. And what's funny is like 2 weeks after that, I was back in the big leagues. So it was like a big fuck you to that guy.
I think
but like, look,
I think the KBO is between we've been watching a decent amount of it. I think it's between double and AAA. It's definitely not between AAA and the big leagues.
That's
what there is a level of physicality in the KBO that blows away the CPBL.
Oh yeah. I mean, the biggest difference is just the pitching. Like you really are not seeing anything above 91. Like you'll go whole games without seeing above 91.
You really don't see anything above like 145 kilometers an hour.
Are you guys like well versed in that? Like, do you see 145, 130, and you're like, oh, that's that? No.
Yeah, I have a chart on my phone.
Yeah, I've gotten pretty used to it, but you can just tell, like, you know, it's also the style of the pitching too. Yeah, and that's true in most of the leagues in Asia. Like, it's a whole lot of junk, which is great, but it's
we
not
had Shane Spencer on.
I want to get into this conversation about like why Jordan and I like bad baseball. Okay, I think this is interesting, right? I think part of it is we grew up in the DC area. I played competitive travel ball in the DC area. We would get wiped by anyone from Southern California, like 8 times over, right? I grew up an Orioles fan in the 2000s. We sucked always, right? So I think for me, the joy of baseball, I was kind of forced into finding joy in the crap in a way, right? And because of that, that has kind of gotten me to this point now where I'm waking up most mornings to watch KBO. Jordan and I do a podcast about Division-III baseball, right?
Exclusively.
Just Division-III. And we love every little bit of it.
Wait, hold on. About D3, producer BBD, I'll get you back on screen. He covered a D3 school, right? BBD, didn't you say that?
I went to a school in the Centennial Conference, and I worked at another school in the Centennial Conference. I went to Ursinus College.
Oh
and
my
goodness!
Dude, we got to talk about
Stan Exeter.
We got to talk about Alex Mummy.
Well, dude, so
I'm a year older than Alex Mummy. Like I know him.
BBD.
Hey, Trevor Plouffe. I just want to have the opportunity to tell a former major leaguer about Alex Mummy. This kid was incredible. Oh my goodness. Anyway, sorry.
Alex Mummy. Shout out, baby.
So BBD told us at one point, like No, like, didn't you say the players listen to their D3 podcast and like they're all
Well,
over
I said I listened to it.
Okay.
When I saw it existed.
What percentage of the
let's hear what they
D3
say about my
listeners are the
conference.
players in the D3 like players?
It's players, coaches, families. You know,
Okay.
it's like
That's
let's
awesome.
get
Parents.
a week on that. Like
Lot of
600
parents.
to 1,000 listens a week, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, there are 380 D3 schools, right?
That's what I was going to ask. Like, how many? Like, how do you cover that? Like, is there enough to cover? The 380 seems like a lot to me. That's way more than I thought.
Is there enough? It's too much. Where do you even
I
start?
thought there was going to be like 10 or 15 schools you guys cover. But 380.
Who's a D3 graduate or that is now on in a big league farm that you guys are like, he's cracking a roster soon?
All right, Jordan Zimmerman and Billy Wagner are the two best D3 players of all time.
Okay.
The guys now, JP Fireeisen, Yankee legend,
guy.
buried at AAA for no reason. Free JP Fireeisen.
Oh, I had a homer off him in AAA.
Oh yeah, you
Wow.
went. There you go.
I went big fly off him too. That was fun.
I think I might have clipped him too. Yeah.
There's a
good.
there's a D3
I
kid who's
remember
going to
that.
get picked in the second round this year named Nick Garcia. He's like going to be like a comp round guy.
He's at Chapman University, Trevor. You could have gone to Chapman and won multiple
Chapman's a really good
championships.
Chapman's a really good program. I know about Chapman.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you
They
go.
won the national championship
That's the
last
one
year.
to know about.
There's a guy named Lake Backer in the Padres system who's pretty legit. Guy named Tommy Parsons who made the Cardinals top 30 list. I mean, usually it's pitchers, not hitters, because making the adjustment from seeing 86 to 96 usually doesn't make the leap. But if you're a pitcher and you go to a smaller school and you grow 4 inches and gain 10 miles on your velo, like that's going to play, right?
Yeah. Even if you're bullying kids,
Dude,
that
we're
need to go do their homework.
We're going to see so much more talent at these universities because, the 3-year rule at D1 sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it 4 years at least. Like, let guys get their degree. If that's what you want, like, let them get their degree. But when there's 3 years, it's absolutely pointless. And now, especially with the shorter draft, like, guys are going to say, I'm going to go to JUCO. I'm going to go to a D3, whatever program, and I'll be there for 6 months, and then I'll become a free agent.
D3, you got to wait, though.
Is D3 also?
You got to do 3 years. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It's the worst of both worlds, baby. No scholarships. No scholarships, and you got to wait.
So JUCO will be the one that takes all the talent.
JUCO's about to rake in the talent from this bizarre draft.
Oh, that's tough.
Are you guys, is there like a D3 school that you're more well-versed in than an MLB team? Like, do you know more about the best D3 school than like the, let's see, Padres? No.
We'll I can
go
say,
like
okay, not major league, but like more than D1 schools. Easily, like even the best D1 programs, I definitely know more about.
I might know more. Well, we know more about our own schools.
Yeah.
Like where we went, like and where I played. Like I know more about that program than I do about the Tigers.
Oh, how's your Tommy John recovery going?
Oh, it's going all right. Here you go.
Ooh.
You gonna get the stitches on there?
No, that's so tacky.
Okay.
Exactly.
It is tacky.
That's your brand. Tackiness and awfulness.
How?
Sorry, that slipped up again.
Jake on Jake crime. Jeez.
I don't do well with other Jakes. And I think, long story short, MLB Network, if you're listening, which we know they are, if you guys don't get some strange baseball and travel Andrew Zimmer type show at some point, it's a sin to the baseball gods. And so, Trevor, as you're finding out, these two guys are sickos in their separate ways as well.
Yes.
And normally I wouldn't do this and put them on the spot, but I know they'll have stuff, and it also puts you on the spot. But boys, as you know, we dug through the Cespedes Twitter pipeline a little bit to find any Trevor Plouffe. And we did find, there was an opening day. Trevor Plouffe lined out. We missed that, which again, I mean,
line out. You hit the ball hard.
Hey, you hit it. Yeah, you hit it well. Perfect.
That's what he said. Trevor was like, line out's nice.
What other memories do you guys have as Trevor Plouffe? Because I do know, Jordan, you have some minor league sicko qualities, and you guys are just baseball sick people in general. So, and what do you have on Trevor Plouffe before he comes back at you?
Oh boy. Well, I would say that if we're talking like, if someone comes up to me with a gun and says, name an early 2000s Minnesota Twin, you're probably one of the first 3 people I name. Like if and you can't say Joe Mauer, I'm probably saying Trevor Plouffe pretty quickly. And yeah, your name helps. I'm remembering Plouffe a lot more easier than I'm remembering the name Scott Baker, all due respect to him. But yeah, I mean, you and Kevin Slowey, who we've been fortunate enough to become friendly with over the last few years, are just way up there on those rankings. So I got no beef. I mean, we'll show you what we said about you, more slander on our website when we were in college. But other than that,
an insane claim.
I really have nothing bad.
If you say Trevor Plouffe, I think about the 28 double plays he grounded into to lead the league in 2014.
That's his black ink, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black ink. It is. Old. You know who else led the league in double plays hit into?
Albert
Pujols.
Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah. Some of the greats.
Just means you hit the ball hard.
Trevor, I let me make a point though, because there are so many baseball players, right? Like there are so many. And when you're like covering the league, they just kind of run together at a certain point, right? And you never know down the road who you're going to end up on a podcast with and who you'll never ever think about again. And it's like total chance, right? I'm sure if I had gotten the opportunity to have a conversation with you in 2011, I'd be like, oh, Trevor Plouffe, like he's interesting. Like he's not just your typical baseball dummy, right? But like at the time, I don't know the difference between you and Josh Willingham's personalities, right? Like how would I ever know that, right? And it's just so funny that like you fast forward and then Trevor Plouffe, like he's part of the gang.
That I feel like you're leading me into like something where like, hey, I wrote this horrible thing about you.
Read Trev the headline of the article. He'll love it.
I'm in the dark here.
Yeah, you're not.
The timing of it is also very key, I would like to say.
Okay.
Here, wait, Jake, do you
want me to read it?
As
I
the
mean,
clean,
2011,
you wrote it, Jake. You got the byline. So
as the cleanest guy in baseball, Trev. Here we go.
I am the cleanest guy in baseball.
What is this, Jordan? August 15th, 2013, I think. All right. Headline: Players who took steroids by Jake Mintz. There is a problem with baseball. It's not the new CBA. It's not the Angels bullpen. And it's not the fact that there is an alleged rapist pitching for the Tampa Bay Rays. I assume I'm talking about Josh Fluke.
Yes.
No, the enormous problem with baseball right now is dergs. Here are some buzzwords you need to know about dergs. Buzzword: biogenesis. Biogenesis is a group of scientists working together to uncover biological secrets from the Bible. That's a good joke.
That's pretty good.
Buzzword: HGH. HGH obviously stands for Hugh Grant's head, which can be found by clicking here.
Link to Hugh Grant's head.
Link. It's a link joke.
Okay.
50 game suspension. When rappers 50 Cent and The Game are kept in suspense by the rap community about their feud.
Okay.
Anyway, here are the players who took steroids, according to me. Miguel Cabrera, Clayton Kershaw, and Trevor Plouffe.
Oh my God. What?
Under each guy, I got a picture of them as like a high schooler and a picture of them in the big leagues. And I was like, look how much bigger they are now. Must be steroids. Except I obviously, like I didn't find a picture of you in high school like I did with like baby Miggy and baby Kershaw. So I posted a picture of a fetus and a picture of you. And I wrote, take a gander at how much bigger Plouffe looks in the second picture. He grew significantly since he was in the womb, which means steroids. Also, his facial expression in the second picture is suspicious. I would give him 50 games for steroids, 25 games for lying, and 10 games for ploufing.
Oh my
classic.
Now, unreal.
I have to say, why, as the person who was editing Jake at the time, I don't know why we singled you out. I really have no idea.
I'm curious, like how I got lumped in with Kershaw and Cabrera. That's great.
Plouffe's a great name.
Plouffe's a good name.
It's really that simple. Maybe you had a hot week and we were like,
do you want to rebut these allegations, Trev?
I mean, as I've stated many times on this podcast, I'm the cleanest guy in baseball.
Did you get bigger since the womb?
True or false?
Yes or no? Yes,
I'm gonna have to say that's affirmative. Yeah.
steroids.
Yeah.
Lock it in.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right.
Jake's taking
Got
steroids.
him.
They might have to retroact and just suspend me 50 games.
That'd be
Do
cool.
it.
That'd be good for the
People
pod.
still think I'm playing, so I think I should just. People still think I'm playing. I'm not officially retired. I didn't turn the paperwork in. Should I just go get suspended for no reason?
No,
50
Trevor. It's
man
actually
roster.
Trevor. It's like the Michael Jordan conspiracies about how he was secretly suspended for gambling. You were actually secretly suspended for the last few
let's
years.
start that.
That's the
That's
only
sick.
reason.
I like that.
After they read Jake's post and they were like,
But for something cool, not steroids. I got suspended for espionage or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how you're breaking
Like,
all the
that's-
stories.
yeah.
That's a great question. If a major leaguer was involved in some sort of extremely secret spy mission that was mega crazy illegal, would they also get suspended but from baseball in addition to going to jail for 50 years?
You're talking about Mo Berg, and he was a loser.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Yo,
Slippery
so
slope.
yeah, I won't do the whole thing.
That's
But
fine.
Jake and I have a history podcast. We did a whole season on baseball, and my brother produces it, and he wrote this whole, on the Mo Berg story. Mo Berg was a baseball. He's a catcher.
We know Moberg.
He gets
don't
drafted.
act like we don't know Moberg.
But Trev might not. He gets drafted. He becomes a spy in World War II, tries to assassinate Hitler and all this stuff.
Oh, awesome. Good for him.
They sent baseball players to Japan with Babe Ruth and stuff, and they sent Mo Berg, who was a shitty catcher, and he was doing spy stuff. But Jake and I, we didn't mean to, but we were just reading the story on our history show, and it ended up we just ripped this dude apart. And it was the meanest Mo Berg episode ever.
Can we say though,
Mo Berg is a Jewish baseball icon.
okay, that is one
Icon.
thing.
Also
but
the
do you
worst.
Do you also remember? You also remember the Moberg experience that we had?
Yes. So when
Jake.
we were in Cooperstown, we got a tour of all the special artifacts in the basement, and one of the things that they brought up to show us was Mo Berg's cup.
Wow.
What?
Why is Mo Berg in the Hall of Fame?
He's
Well,
a hero, Jim.
Well, he didn't actually do anything.
Oh my God!
No, so
Gonna get ugly.
the
What
article
a
was
sad hill. to
Unreal,
die
Jim.
on.
unreal.
Mo
But
Berg
here's
was a
I need to let everyone know where this stems from. Mo Berg knew 5 languages, so he thought the other team knew his signs, so he started writing the signs down in Sanskrit to give to his shortstop. And me and Jake were like, "Fuck this dude!" Imagine being the shortstop. Dude, I don't know Sanskrit. You can't talk to
John Morosi and Mo Berg would be the same person if you just flipped the eras.
It's crazy. So anyway, I don't know how we landed on Mo Berg or where we were to
We
start
always
that.
do.
But
We need to
Trev
make a
did not
plan
take
where
some-
I get suspended from
Yeah.
baseball. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Can you,
That
Trev?
would be
if,
big for the brand.
if you do something that is suspension worthy, but you're not an active player, can they still be you're suspended?
I think so.
If you throw at someone and then admit it. Maybe if you threw at Jake, you set something up, throw at Jake, said, yes,
I threw
I
at him
threw
on
at him on
purpose.
purpose.
Mhm.
That's at least 8 games for sure.
Should I just go fire my gun off in my garage a certain?
Whoa.
That would also
Jeez.
probably get you a few games.
Yeah.
I would
Oh.
imagine.
Jeez.
Well, that gets you.
Tweet.
That gets
Hey,
you 50,
Yankees fans.
That gets you 50 games, a hell of a contract in a World Series.
Tweet at MLB and say I shot my gun in my garage. No, don't do that. We
Hey,
don't-
it also
we
gets
don't-
you Gleyber Torres, so let's relax, bud.
I
yeah.
think Trevor Plouffe is a spy.
That's great. Okay.
I think
Thank
Trevor
you.
Plouffe is a spy.
I think Trevor Plouffe is a spy. Yeah. That's good.
Class.
I actually work for Rob Manfred.
Oh,
Damn.
Yeah.
Uncle Bob.
That sucks.
Have you have
I
you
call him
guys
Robert?
have you guys been able to get yourself excited about any baseball stuff? My one thing that I kept running into was if we do this shortened season, is that I don't know, half the league will be up for MVP because anyone can put half a season together.
Well,
So
you're talking about an Orioles fan and a Mariners fan here. So,
are the
Postseason,
Mariners
baby.
making
You
a
guys
playoff
really
push?
do like bad baseball. This is tough.
if a shortened season happens, I mean, or
Yeah.
either of you hey, roll the dice. We can be good for 80 games.
I'm I'm honestly going to be more intrigued by the teams that are supposed to be good that just have like a 7-game losing streak and have to tank. I think that's even funnier than the bad teams that end up in the postseason. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know how the draft order is going to work next year. I don't know if they're going to use the
There's not going to be any
record.
baseball
Jordan,
next year.
that was the most Jordan Schusterman answer of all time, which is how basically the question is, how do you feel about a shortened season? And you're talking about the draft order for 2021.
He asked me, do I want my bad team to be good? And that is very much related to the draft order.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a bad team mentality. Like the first thing you thought of is what draft pick. I haven't thought about a Yankees draft pick in my entire life.
Okay, let me answer the real question.
High school kid.
Well, no. Listen. I would love, of course. I want when they were 13-2 last year, I was like, hell yeah, let's go to the freaking playoffs. Who gives a shit? So, why not?
No. Okay. Yes. To answer your question, I want the Orioles to have like 2 hot weeks and like Anthony Santander is like the MVP and we sneak in. Like, yeah, I want that. There's a better chance of doing it now than there is next year or the year after. Like, give me that.
But again, now, I also sense the fear from these Yankees fans.
They're a little nervous. They thought they had it locked up, and over an 162 game season, they did have it locked up. And anything to mess with those odds makes them like kind of move in their chair a little bit.
No, they're all healthy now.
Let me say this. They're all healthy. I was watching ESPN and they had some hockey guy on, and he was talking about how he doesn't want like the sanctity of the Stanley Cup to be tarnished, right? Like he doesn't want there to be like a shortened BS playoff that reduces it. And I'm the opposite. I don't care. We're living in extraordinary times. Just everyone will know forever that this World Series, whoever wins it, will just count a little differently, and that's fine. We don't need to not have a season because of that.
Well, if they went to that the 6-week round robin that got talked about, and the executive was like, "Give me 6 weeks, we'll put on a show," that I would have been very hard to swallow. Like that's not a World Series. But if they get 81, 82 games in, it definitely is, in my opinion.
I want to bring it back to something here.
Yeah.
Do you remember? This is really funny. We went down to spring training. Mm-hmm. We went to Orioles camp. The first thing we noticed was they had great Wi-Fi speed. Which
was my God, it was the best.
Amazing Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Second thing we noticed.
Well run.
Second thing we noticed, which is in retrospect hilarious, is they were practicing catching fly balls with extreme crowd noise. And now, obviously, that's funny for 2 reasons. One, they're the Orioles. They're not going to be playing in the playoffs where the crowd is going crazy. And 2, we're not even going to have any fucking fans in the stands now.
It's kind of funny.
Trevor, you plan for greatness. Did you not watch The Last Dance? Okay, young MJ with the young Bulls. Okay, he's treating it like they're in the championship, as he should be. And that's how you plan to be great. If you're on a shitty team in spring training, you're just gonna mail it in March.
Yeah, they knew when your franchise is like, look, we're not gonna fucking try. You don't think the players know that?
Of course they do, but you're still gonna do the drills.
Not with the crowd noise. You don't need the crowd noise. That's egregious.
You think the crowd noise is eyewash? The crowd noise is kind of eyewash too.
Yeah, but they were having when we went down to field level and we got a view of it there. They were all having like a blast doing it. Although I do remember there was one second baseman who fucked up and Hyde was like all over him, but you couldn't hear what Hyde was yelling because they were blaring crowd noise. So in that moment, I think that second baseman was probably like, thank God for this noise because I don't want to.
I was going to say that also could be part of the strategy. It's like, we're the Orioles. We might be screwing up some of these drills. Let's make sure that our manager can absolutely lay into our players and no one can hear it.
They said it. Maybe. They said it started Buck started it in like 2015 after that.
When they were winning more games than anyone. So, it works both ways.
Yeah.
Oh man, that in retrospect, just think about how fucking hilarious that is that they were practicing with the crowd noise. Now we literally have 0 people.
Yeah. Now they're gonna have to practice without any noise.
You'll be laughing when it's November and Camden Yards is jumping.
Jumping, yeah.
Are they going to be a concert there or something?
He doesn't say they're hosting some event.
Billy Joel at Camden Yards.
Hey, so when you guys get the ringer deal, were they like, you need to drop the Cespedes? Did you guys fight for the Cespedes?
No. Look, it's already confusing enough. We already have to explain the name enough, and we still do, right? But we were more than happy to simplify.
Baseball
and also,
barbecue.
Like, it kind of separates it from our old podcast, which was, the Cespedes Family BBQ. And now they're two different entities, and that's how we want it, because this new podcast actually sounds good and is produced by a professional.
That's nice. And the first episode was all about baseball brawls, and probably something we have in common because I've been doing all these old breakdowns, and a lot of the requests I get are brawls. I didn't get to listen to your episode yet, but do you just talk in general, or do you highlight a few?
Yeah, we picked our top 5, and I have to say, we tweeted out a video of the 5th one. I don't know if you've done a breakdown of this one. I know I'm sure you've done the Yankees Orioles.
No,
and of course Bautista.
The one you're talking about is when the 2 batters in the box.
Yes.
So I did all the research necessary for a breakdown on that. There's not enough video components for me to think it's worthwhile. So I'd have to put a picture on the screen because it's the Mad Hungarian.
It's only like a minute.
Yeah, it's not long.
Like a minute.
Did you guys research what happened? So for anyone that doesn't know, I did like 3, these old breakdowns, they take me forever because I do all this research. I did 3 hours worth on this. And then I decided I don't know if I can put this together in 2 minutes. The Mad Hungarian, Jake, I tweeted him at you because he would start with his back to the pitcher and then bang his glove together like the Wild Thing and then turn. So this batter who was the batter?
Bill Madlock.
Bill Madlock. Bill Madlock would step into the box and wait, and then he'd have to wait for the Mad Hungarian to do his thing. So he's as soon as the Mad Hungarian turned around and got on the mound, he stepped out just to fuck with him. So then the Mad Hungarian, he steps back in the box. Mad Hungarian turns his back again and does his whole intimidating thing. The dude steps out again, and the ump is now mad at everyone. Get in the box, get in the fucking box. So he pitches, he just calls it a strike, and then he gets ejected, and then the next guy is comes up. It's crazy, but it all stems from fucking with the Mad Hungarian. That one was wild.
Yeah, so that was one that I did not immediately come to mind that we figured we had to highlight. But yeah, it was the whole thing. It was we did some specific ones and just everything we like about it. We talked to Amir Garrett, which was fun. And then this week we did a home run derby episode. So that is obviously something that very red meat, as they say, pretty obvious, but we're pretty excited to talk about home runs. So
greatest home run derby. Who comes to your mind, Trev? If you think a home run performance, I think everyone's going to have one's going to go to the top. Do you have a guy?
I'll be honest with you. I don't love the home run derby. But yeah, obviously everyone's going to think Josh Hamilton. And then you have to always tell people he didn't even win the home run derby. Yep. Justin Morneau, friend of the pod, won the home run derby.
Wow.
Yes, but I'll tell you what I love. And you guys, people are going to talk crap about him, but he is my buddy. Ryan Braun put on a show, and the BP pitcher for Ryan Braun was none other than our agent, Nez Bolello.
What?
Yeah. Wow. So, Nez,
big day for Nez Bolello.
Yeah. Big, so he's great. Been an agent for a long time. He's at CAA now, but he started out, he's a baseball player. He played in the Braves organization and was a youth coach and had a facility and all this stuff and parlayed that into becoming an agent. But I don't know if a lot of people know that he's out there. He throws the best BP, the best BP. I think I got drafted as high as I did because when we would do these workouts for teams, he would throw me BP and he just knew how to find the barrel. That's what he did.
Those are my favorite stories of the home run derby is the BP.
We went back. So I went back and compiled data on the last 10 years, just since 2010, of every single thrower in the derby, and just found some great stuff. Did you know Yadier Molina threw to Matt Holliday in the derby? He was his thrower, and he wore a glove. He's has a glove in his glove hand. How are the Cardinals letting that happen?
Yeah.
The catchers always throw the best BP.
I know, but not the guy. Former catchers throw the best BP. Not your peak Yadier Molina.
Oh, that's great.
Another good one is Brian Dozier gets in the Derby. It's at Target Field in front of everyone, and then he picks his brother, which is awesome, except that Clay couldn't find the strike zone. It was a really tough home run derby.
Like we had last year, Matt Chapman's dad. Just totally ruining it for him. Like that was cool, but there's also a long history of picking your dad and then winning.
Cano, Harper, right?
Some decent BP. Obviously, Jose Cano was pretty good.
It's such a better story. Like I would rather have my dad out there and like we have that forever than like some random like dude that just throws good BP like that. I told Dozier that. I told Chappie that too after. I was like, dude, that's who gives a shit? Like you're in the home run derby and your fucking dad was throwing you BP on like a huge stage. It's amazing.
Well, no, it's so true.
Josh Hamilton's guy. There was a story on Josh Hamilton's guy, and this is from my memory of back then, but I believe he always started BP with just having Josh Hamilton like hold his bat out like vertically, and he would throw the first ball and just nail the bat like right there. It's like, where do you want it? And he would hold his bat still, and he would just hit it, and then they would go from there.
I think Hamilton's guy was his American Legion coach in high school or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it was some high school coach.
Yeah, we had Hoskins on, who was in the Derby in DC and like did low key super well. And he was talking about how he picked like this Phillies infield coordinator who he had taken hours and hours and hours of ground balls with in the minor leagues. And he was like, yeah, like this guy means something to me and he throws the best BP.
Right. Yeah. So I get Trevor's point, but at the same time, it's like, if you want to win, you do kind of have to have that part of it nailed down.
Well, now that you win now that you win $1 million, it's like, all right, well, maybe Dad,
well, Pete Alonso, right, making more from the Derby.
Dad, why don't you stay on the couch and I'll give you $250K instead.
Dad starts spiking one because they're in negotiations over how much he gets out of it. That'd be funny.
What percentage do you give to Dad for throwing beeps?
If you win $1 million, I don't know.
It's gotta
big hug.
Gotta be a big chunk of that.
Well, that's exciting.
Really big hug.
But yeah, so home run derby's fun. So you obviously should go check out
a lot of Griffey talk.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell one quick Griffey thing that I absolutely loved was he wins the Derby in '94, and in '98 the Derby's in Coors, and the Mariners are playing the night before the Derby in Texas, and Griffey's like, I don't want to do the Derby. Like, I'm going to be tired. I don't want to do it. He comes out for the workout day in 1998, Monday morning, and gets booed by the fans for not doing the Derby. Changes his mind an hour before the Derby, asks if he can be in it. They say yes, and then he wins it.
Did someone get
booed?
But
none of the fans knew that he was going to be in it. So could you imagine, Ken Griffey's the most popular baseball player of all time, and you're some random schlub in Denver coming to the Derby, and Griffey's not going to do it. And you're like, oh, whatever. And then they announce him.
And then he wins.
For the intros.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's pretty cool. Who got booted? Did someone get booted? Because that person can be like, well, no. I would have won, but Griffey took my spot.
No, because back in the day, they fluctuated the number of it every year. They didn't really care. It was just kind of who wants to be in it. So they just went from 9 to 10.
Do you like the new format? I think the best change baseball's made recently is the home run derby change of the format.
Dude, yes. It makes a huge difference. And going back and watching the old ones, even watching the Hamilton one, which is amazing. I timed it how long Hamilton's round takes from first pitch to his 10th out when he hits 28 homers. It took 22 minutes.
Wow.
Vlad Jr. hit 29 homers in 4 minutes. Four real minutes. And it's well, okay, this is obviously better. There's no, I mean, there are elements of it that, maybe it builds with more breaks in between, but it's so much better now. It's undeniably a better system.
Trev, who would have been your home run derby pitcher?
Would it have been Nez?
I don't know. Dude, if $1 million at stake is a lot different than just hey, let's run the home run derby and see what happens. I get a fucking trophy back in the day. $1 million is different. I probably would have had Nez, yes, or someone I was comfortable with, in the organization. But
you know what I want? I want someone to choose their son to pitch them. like Cecil Fielder has 14-year-old Prince throwing BBs down the middle. That's when that happens, I'll be excited. Imagine winning with your 14-year-old son pitching you. That'd be awesome.
We'll dream.
Yeah. That's a dream I have just in my dream bank.
I will say I was on the back burner in 2012. They approached me like, hey, there's a possibility you could be in the home run derby, because I was going off at that point.
That was the year it was in Kansas City.
That would have been horrible. That's a tough place for a home run derby. Fuck.
So what happened? Did someone just snag the spot, Trev, and you didn't get it?
I was like back up. You know, like, yeah. I was a scrub, dude.
Right,
I was just average. You know that.
Prince Fielder, Joey Bats, Trumbo at his peak, Beltran on the Cardinals, Carlos Gonzalez, McCutchen, Kemp, and Cano. This is the year Cano hit 0 and got booed.
Didn't he win?
Where would you have finished? Where would you have finished in that derby?
He won the year before in Arizona.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I think a home run derby, it's not always about like the best hitter or even the strongest guy. Some guys can just put him in the seats and BP.
Anyone that wins, Judge can win this every single year, but he's not going to do it again. If he wants to click $1 million.
2012, Trevor Plouffe, from the start of the season to June 15, 44 games, 39 starts, 14 yabos.
Oh yeah.
Don't come out here with your scrub lines, because I'll out scrub you every day.
Sounds like a backup home run derby contestant to me.
Can I add this to the Wikipedia page on this year's derby?
Yeah.
Yeah, add it.
Trevor Plouffe. There is a subtitle for Robinson Cano booing controversy. I'm gonna add Trevor Plouffe participation controversy.
Was considered. was considered.
Turned it down.
Oh shit. I wish I was a better baseball player. Trust me, I would have loved to be in the home run derby.
Everyone on this podcast.
Yeah, all of us could probably say the same thing.
Yeah, what are you talking about? You literally played in the major leagues and made billions of dollars. Like, come on.
Trevor, you would have liked so we did a podcast with these fellows at winter meetings, and we were off the rails the whole time. Like, not even a cute podcast, like we're off the rails. Like, no, it was like, oh boy. Like,
it's like unlistenable.
Can we air this to other people? Because I don't think they'd want to listen to this. We got into each other's like scouting reports when we played baseball, and we're like, we're the biggest losers on the planet. But I think I can spin this now. Jake mentioned he played D3 ball. Jordan mentioned he had a player. Do you want to guess at what the scouting reports would be on Jake and Jordan? If not, I get it. But Jake is such a slime ball. I want you to guess.
Jake hostility.
I don't even really understand the question.
What position do you have, Jake? Oh, do we already give that away?
Yeah, me neither.
Give me quick position. Do you have
that? Jake, let me send you. I'm going to send you my perfect game profile.
Nice.
Please do.
So you're a pitcher, obviously.
He's a sidewinder, which Jake Storielli also hates sidewinders.
I don't know how tall. I don't know how tall you are. How tall are you?
6'2".
Yeah.
So you're just an
I'm
average.
5'11".
My scouting report on you is you're an average white righty, and that's what if you have that guy on the mound, you're licking your chops.
Wow.
Sidewinder.
That's what we would say. AWR, baby. Let's go get it. Time to hit.
AWR.
Dude, give me those. Give me the white righties all the time.
But that was all of your Twins teammates. Do you feel bad?
Trust me, dude. You guys probably loved the 2010, 2011, 12, 13 Twins because we were horrible. You guys like bad baseball.
You won more games than I thought you could have. But
yes, we were a pitch to contact team in the era when every single other team was let's miss some bets. We didn't believe in that. I was at third base, terrified for my life.
Lucky you.
A lot.
I was gonna say that really worked out well for the infielder there.
Trev,
Jake, did you get what I sent you?
Yes, I did. I have your profile, and it's
real quick. Trev, is AWR a real acronym that gets used by baseball players?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Who did you first hear say that?
I don't know. You especially here in the minor leagues, because you know, an average white righty, they're going to be around the plate and have control, and like you feel a lot better than when you have, you know, some
average
other
Dominican righty. Now we're in trouble.
I mean, there's guys that you don't know where the ball's going. The average white righties usually did, and so average means height, like regular delivery, and then like you throw 88 to 92.
Oh, okay.
That's what that means.
Twins baseball.
If you're tall, you're not an average white righty. If you throw hard, you're not an average white righty. If you a submarine guy, you're not an average white righty. It has to do with height, skin color, and
honestly,
your stuff.
Like, I'm still adjusting to Jose Barrios. Like, when he came up, I was like, holy shit, what is this Twins pitcher doing? This is not what I signed up for when I became a Twins fan. This is crazy.
I love him, and people come at me and I'm like, this guy's an ace, and they're like, no, he's not. I'm like, I think he really is.
Oh, I love Barrios. Yeah,
he could really be. He's gonna get better too.
All right, and we have a Jake scouting report for Jake,
Yeah,
and also Jake, Cespedes Jake, not JOMBOY Jake. Wow. We sell Jake Sucks hats, which I'm sure you've seen. Yeah. Oh, Trev's wearing one. So many people named Jake buy this hat. Like every day I see an order come through and I see, oh, who bought it? And then it's a guy named Jake, and it makes me laugh every time. Like there's so many Jakes wearing Jake Sucks hats.
I might get one now.
It's
full
crazy.
price.
Yeah, it's a movement.
Pitches from low 3/4 slot, whippy arm action in the back, loose arm projects for more velocity.
Kind of true.
Is this last line 1 out of 7 sliders showed solid shape?
What?
1 to 7. That's on the clock.
Oh, it's on the clock. Okay, it's listed as a fraction, and I was like, that's harsh.
That'd be so funny.
1 to 7? Are you lefty?
1 to 7.
No. 1 to 7. I guess I'm pulling down.
No, that would be lefty. That makes no sense.
That makes no sense. Are you
7 and that's from the pitcher's perspective. That's
from the pitcher's perspective, yes. But
okay.
This is perfect game, so you can't trust their reports at all.
No,
1 to 7. So
from
from if you're watching like the regular feed, you know, that's a slider.
Yeah,
that's a nice slider, Jake.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Can you read the last line though?
I don't want to. Excellent student.
Oh!
Excellent student. AKA,
I could have told you that.
Baseball. That's what
they didn't have that on. They didn't have that on Mike Trout's page. That's all I'm saying. Excellent student down at baseball.
Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us, and congrats on the new show and everything that you guys going on.
Can I say one thing before we go?
Yeah,
please.
You guys are now part of The Ringer.
Yep.
Who I've seen Eddie Vedder go on the pods there. And if you guys don't have Eddie Vedder on your podcast within the next calendar year, I'm going to consider the whole thing a disappointment. So no pressure.
Wow. Challenge accepted.
No pressure.
Challenge accepted.
Didn't you meet Eddie Vedder, Trev?
It's not about me. We're not talking about me right now.
Sounds like it's about you.
Sounds like about you.
And if you
do have him on, I freaking love that guy.
If you get him on, ask him if he remembers when he met Trevor Plouffe.
I will.
He will.
Or just what he remembers about Trevor Plouffe.
Oh, look.
He's going to be like, is that Josh Willingham?
It's an Eddie Vedder sign.
He's going to be like, he was almost in the 2012 Home Run Derby.
Have I smoked a cigarette with Eddie Vedder in a Kansas City hotel? Maybe.
Wow.
But again, not about Trevor. It's not about Trevor.
It's about Eddie. About Eddie.
Great
All
student.
right. We'll let you guys go. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming on and talking with us, educating us in D3 and Dominican baseball. Appreciate it.
Of course.
And there you have it. The Trevor Plouffe steroids allegations are put to rest.
Are they confirmed, I guess? I don't know.
It's confirmed that you did grow.
I know. I told you I was the cleanest guy in baseball, or I was, and now I'm just found out. During this episode, we learned that I took steroids and I am a spy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But do you think I really could get suspended from baseball? And I think that'd be great. It's like we should probably talk about that.
I don't know.
I got to find some obscure rule to break.
Yeah.
Should I bet on baseball?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Bet on a game and see if like what they're.
Dude, I haven't bet on a game. I've never bet on baseball, but like now, like obviously I can, but I'm not officially retired.
I know what's
so
the rules.
Can't. Fuck.
I'm
That's
pretty
tough,
interested.
man. Yeah,
I don't really want to get banned for life from like a sport that I'm covering, so that's probably a bad idea. But if it was like 50 games, I could take that.
Yeah, the ban for life stuff is tough.
I'm gonna go over the rules and try to break something minor and see if I can
probably wouldn't be banned from life, right? It's because you're not banning on a game you're in, and you could show like your one gambling ticket.
I don't know, man.
I'm very interested to see if there's a rule that you can break that even though you're not on an active roster or belong to any club, but you're not officially retired, that they could like punish you in a way. Very interested.
Let's just keep this on the DL. Anybody listening to this, don't be spilling this news out because it's gotta be like a surprise.
No, the Talkin baseball listeners are very, very kind. They won't share anything that we say.
Tweet at the Cespedes guys. Tell them thank you. Hope they learned something from the baseball podcast gods.
Yeah, they had the second best baseball podcast in the land,
according to our
bias metrics.
Metrics.
Plouffe did steroids, 5 stars.
I'd take that review. 5 stars, baby.
5 stars, baby.
See you guys.